Welcome to my first FPS. Remember how last episode we covered the circle of life? Death was considered a tragedy. Here, it's status quo, baby. This is easily the most violent entry in the Toybox series, so far anyway. So if you're squeamish, you might want to sit this one out. A guy I met and befriended in middle school showed me this game, and I was immediately sold on it. He supplied me with a bootleg copy so I could play it myself, and I happily did. Must have spent hundreds of hours in the game. For this video, I'm going to be playing the Game of the Year edition on Steam, using the old Unreal patch. If you want this game, well, you'll have to get it elsewhere because it's not available on Steam anymore. Thanks, Epic. The story is that some mining corporation called Leandri started hosting exhibitions to let its employees duke it out to keep their violent tendencies in check. They realized there was big money to be made in these exhibitions, so they formed a professional league inviting skilled fighters from everywhere, blah-de-blah-de-blah. The story is unimportant, nobody gives a shit about it, that's not what you're here for. It's your typical dude bro sci-fi nonsense, and it's just an excuse to justify the senseless violence you're about to witness. Speaking of, here's some senseless violence. You start with a pistol, but you can find weapons around the map. Grab them quick, cause you're gonna need them. Kill and don't get killed. It's that simple. If you do get killed, you can respawn right away, but you lose your gear. Good incentive not to die. The pistol isn't worthless, but firing gangsta style from far away is. You only ever really use it when you respawn. I do like that if you find a second pistol, you can go akimbo. Double the firepower, double the rate of fire, double the fun. But they're still just pistols, so they won't get much mileage. The rocket launcher, on the other hand... now we're talking. The quick respawns are bittersweet. You can die, respawn, die again, respawn again, hopefully somewhere safer this time. So you'll never be out of the action for long. On the flip side, that also means your enemies won't be down for very long, so you have to stay on your toes. Especially when everyone who's still alive will usually have better weapons than you. Look at this, she's got a minigun and all I've got is a dinky pistol. I'm amazed I even survived as long as I did. In the absence of reliable multiplayer servers, the bots in this game are actually pretty advanced for their time, and even to this day. You can make them dumb as a sack of rocks, cracked out wall hackers, or anything in between. Or you could just do what I did as a kid. Boot up facing worlds, camp on the tower with a sniper rifle, and click heads all day. It never got old hearing, "Monster kill, monster kill." I never played multiplayer, but if I did, someone would have inevitably put a stop to my nonsense sooner rather than later. This was how I played though. Alone with bots, on the easiest difficulty, sniping from the rooftop, often with God mode and all weapons, even though I seldom used anything other than the sniper rifle on that map. Surprisingly, this got boring, so I spiced it up a bit. The first different map I ever played was when I accidentally completed the objective, and so it put me here on Corette. I didn't like it at first because it was different. What is this map? Where is everything? Where do I go? What do I do? But it was the first nudge in knocking me out of my complacency and opening up to the possibilities. I even started to like the map. Eventually I decided to try the tournament. It's a shoehorned in single-player campaign that's identical to the multiplayer, only it has progression of sorts. The first ladder is Deathmatch, which is self-explanatory. At worst, it was the most violent game of hide-and-seek I'd ever played. But Domination... ugh. Then, as now, I don't like Domination. Deathmatch was fun and fast-paced. Domination feels sluggish. You're just waiting for your score to slowly go up, eventually meet the threshold, and hoping that your idiotic teammates can stay on top of the control points. Because if they all go to the enemy team, that just slows things down even more. On the rare occasion I do play, I just tell my teammates to freelance and let them figure it out from there. Even then, it's easy to get lost. Not even the pre-match free-fly camera helps much. It's easy to forget where to go and how to get there in the heat of the action. Capture the Flag has something I wish Team Fortress 2 had. The ability to return the flag to your base by touching it. I'm not a fan of the asymmetrical maps, but I can still have more fun on this mode than Domination. Here it's a matter of how quickly you can cap the flag, rather than waiting for a timer that stops every time you lose control. You might also notice from this match in particular that there's always one match per ladder where your opponents are human Scarge hybrids. The Scarge were hostile aliens from the original Unreal. Yeah, this whole series started with a single-player game called Unreal. From there, it spawned spin-offs like Unreal Tournament, which a surprising number of people, myself included, didn't even know until later. Assault has you, well, assaulting a base. Once you've captured or destroyed the objective, the roles swap, and you have to stop the enemy team from beating it faster than you. There aren't that many of these, and they're over pretty quickly, but 2 of them stand out for all the wrong reasons. Ocean Floor is confusing to navigate and extremely difficult to defend, and Overlord makes D-Day look like a walk on the beach. Pun surprisingly not intended. I mean, the defenders are all bunked up, there's a mortar that keeps firing on you, and you're not out of the woods once you're inside the base. This took me so many goddamn tries, but it was all worth it in the end, because once I got to defend, I went up to the tower, and all of a sudden I was playing Facing Worlds. Except easier. If I don't get them, the mortar will. They cannot get through this. It's also a pretty good showcase of how completely busted the sniper rifle is in this game. You know, Team Fortress 2's developer commentary talked about the balance problems they had with the sniper rifle. You need to be zoomed in to start scoring headshots, and that's a very intentional design decision. It means you can't get away with this, and especially this. While we're on the topic, the shock rifle is about as nutty. Its primary and alt fire are good on their own, but if you shoot an alt fire orb and blast it with a beam, boom! Wish I knew about that trick back then. The rocket launcher was another favorite of mine. Who doesn't love firing off 6 rockets at once just to make damn sure there's no escape? On the other end of the spectrum are the GES Bio Rifle and the Ripper. I don't like either of these weapons. Nobody does, but at least the Bio Rifle can be used defensively. What's the Ripper's excuse? I'm more liable to kill myself with this piece of shit than I am with a rocket launcher. Even the AI knows it sucks. More often than not, they'll use the better, but still underwhelming, explosive alt fire. I only ever used it when I had no other options, or if I wanted to try to go for a cheeky decapitation. I like that some of the weapons are canonically repurposed mining equipment, like the pulse rifle and impact hammer. The impact hammer is the default melee, and you can use it to do impact jumps. As a retired soldier main, I feel right at home with that, but it never occurred to me back then. I preferred the chainsaw for obvious reasons. The flak cannon is just funny. Functionally, it's a shotgun, but if you're not doing enough damage firing shrapnel, just lob the whole damn shell at him. The minigun is no Sasha, but it's satisfying to use nonetheless. But my ultimate favorite was the Redeemer. It's rare and super dangerous to use, but blowing shit up is a favorite pastime of mine. Especially when the alt fire lets you pilot the missile yourself. You can take it wherever you want it to go, as long as you don't get killed, or the enemy doesn't shoot it out of the sky before you can detonate it. Now, as impressive as I may look playing this game, I'm not especially good at it. Anyone who's played this seriously against other humans knows I'm not good at it. The bots I play against are on average or experience difficulty, because I play games for fun, not as a test of honor. Hell, I used to play on easy difficulty with cheats all the time when I was younger. I had a very specific purpose for this game back then, and you may even notice in one of my ancient videos, I had this game on my desktop labeled as stress relief. It worked a treat at that. Life is honestly too short to worry about being good at video games. Just enjoy them. If you need to crank the difficulty down, crank the difficulty down. No one worth listening to is gonna judge you, especially when you get to the final ladder of the tournament. The challenge pits you against harder bots on a new set of maps. These aren't too bad, but the final fight against Zan Krieger is where I start breaking things. I don't think I realized back then just what kind of fresh hell I was sparing myself from when I used God, Loaded, and all ammo against this guy. He starts at your chosen difficulty level, then goes up a level every time you kill him. If he kills you, he goes down, bottoming out at your chosen difficulty. And despite everything I just got through saying, I still insisted on beating him legit, just so I could say I did it. I don't remember the last time I screamed at a video game, like viscerally, passionately screamed. But I did here. Zan is a bastard to beat. If he gets the shield belt or invisibility cloak, you're fucked. For most of this video, I'd been playing with headphones off to get the authentic experience, but more importantly, to get cleaner audio quality, because my headset is weird like that when using the USB connection. But I had to plug it back in to deal with this. I apologize for the resulting drop in in-game audio quality, but it was a necessity. What it didn't solve was the problem of me accidentally jumping to my death because I double-tapped a movement key. I had that on to improve my ability to dodge, but throughout my sessions, all I think it did was send me plummeting to my death more often than not. Eventually, I just resorted to camping in this little hallway, grabbing the shield belt when it spawned, never deviating too far except to grab health and ammo. It was one of the most grueling things I've ever done in a video game. I beat the bastard, but I don't think it was worth the trouble. You unlock his player model by beating him, but I would have gotten it with or without cheats. Whatever, I'm never doing this again. Unreal Tournament has a new champion, and he'll never be the same after what he's been through. Well, at least the music is excited for you. But as with most other people, the only track that really stayed in my head was Foregone Destruction by Michael van der Bar. All the music in this game kicks serious ass and perfectly fits the vibe of whatever map you're on. All this on top of some surprisingly fleshed out lore that I'd never bothered looking into back then. Few arenas are purpose-built for the tournament, whereas most others were acquired specifically for how dangerous they are. Prime examples include Pressure, which has a pressure chamber with goodies inside to lure players in, with potentially deadly results, and Eternal Caves, which the tournament board deemed a worthy addition after 17 XD archaeologists fell to their deaths. So yeah, some places are holdovers from Leandri's days as a mining corporation, some were some ancient alien ruins, most are just stupidly dangerous. Lava Giant is what happens when a planet's mantle collapses from intense gravitational forces from a nearby gas giant, so the contestants are given artificial gravity. Otherwise it wouldn't be physically possible to jump. Or live. I remember liking November, because I liked swimming around and hanging out around the submarine. What I don't have is the map that I spend all my time on, Facing Worlds Special Edition. It moves the spawn behind the towers, moves some of the teleporters around, and replaces the Rippers with miniguns. But I didn't have Game of the Year edition, I had some other copy with some extra stuff included. Oh well, better than nothing. You do still get mutators though. These give you all kinds of ways to spice up the gameplay, but there's two that I use most often. The first was swapping the impact hammer for the chainsaw, trading utility for raw, visceral fun. I also liked volatile ammo, purely because I liked watching the ammo pickups explode in different ways, depending on the ammo type. You can even use ammo pickups as improvised weapons that way. There's a lot of customization going on here. On top of the mutators, you have some neat options for player models. You can be a Scarge hybrid, Zan Mark II, or friggin' Nolly War Cow. And of course, you move whenever you kill someone. The bots can be customized as well, letting you alter their look and playstyle, but I'd never actually messed with that. I'll never really touch multiplayer in this game because I'd get my ass handed to me, but I'm perfectly content with just messing around with bots and friends. If there's one thing this game is great at, it's making you feel like a badass killing machine. In a world where publishers insist on making multiplayer-only games that'll become obsolete when people stop playing them, it's good to know I have at least one multiplayer game in my library where the bots are competent, customizable, and ready whenever I am. Not that they're the brightest bulbs in the pack, but they're still leagues better than modern bot support, assuming a game is even lucky enough to have that in the first place. Games like this are a prime example in showcasing that multiplayer games must be able to stand on their own merits when playing by yourself. If you want an easy time, keep the difficulty low. If you want a challenge, the bots get smarter and more perceptive the higher the difficulty gets. They'll know how to impact jump, how to use the shock rifle combo, and plenty of other tricks. Personally, I'm content to just bully the bots with cheap shots, telefrags, and better game sense. I'll never be the best, but I don't need to be. As the first FPS I ever played, this game will always hold a special place in my heart. And that's Unreal Tournament. As my first exposure to first-person shooters, it shaped my expectations further down the line, and would even help me mentally prepare for Team Fortress 2. But the real question left to answer is, who will win the channel membership Battle Royale? It's down to Subject of the British Empire and Illogical Jason, and neither is going down without a fight. Will there be more contenders? That's yet to be seen. For now, I'll see you in the next video.